Welcome back to the IBSP. Here's your host, Boxing News.
The Turk is disrespecting Canelo, and look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And the Turk has come out and made some interesting disrespectful statements about Canelo Alvarez. The Turk is sponsoring UFC 306, which is going head-to-head with Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. He stated, and I quote, "We will eat him," in reference to going head-to-head with Canelo Alvarez. And he stated that he still wants to make a Canelo versus Crawford fight. But he was very disrespectful in how he stated that. He stated, "I will give Canelo what I think is a fair price." Extremely disrespectful statement. Then he goes on to state that if he accepts he deals directly with me to finish the deal, I don't want anyone in the middle. So he's dictating to Canelo how the fight will go and how it will be made. He also goes on to state that I guarantee Terence Crawford a big fight, and I want Canelo for Crawford, and Crawford wants Canelo. But if Canelo is crazy with his financial demands, I'll still guarantee Terence Crawford any fights he wants. So basically, he was just extremely disrespectful to Canelo Alvarez in this statement. I mean, think about it. First off, he'd already told Canelo Alvarez we will eat him in a head-to-head standoff with UFC 306 and Canelo. Then he goes on to state that I will give Canelo what I think is fair. Not about what Canelo thinks, not about negotiating or making a deal, but what I think is fair. Very arrogant, very disrespectful. He goes on to state that, I don't want anyone in the middle, telling Canelo Alvarez how the deal will be made, how it will go, and how it will be promoted. He also goes on to state that, I guarantee Terence Crawford a big fight. So basically saying he's doing all of this simply for Terence Bud Crawford, not for Canelo, not for anyone else, and says if Canelo's crazy with his financial demands, if he's crazy in any way, then he's just going to go ahead and get him another big fight. It was just a very disrespectful statement about Canelo Alvarez, but this doesn't surprise me. When you look at the Turk has been holding Terence Crawford's nuts for a while now. And look, it's okay. If you want to hold Terence Crawford's nuts, so be it. All credit to His Excellency, the nut holder in the Turk. Much respect to you. But the problem that we have here is if I was Canelo Alvarez, ain't no way in hell I would make that fight with the Turk, especially after this disrespect. And also looking at all the things that surround the fight. Look at it like this. First off, this is not a legacy fight for Canelo Alvarez. He literally has nothing to gain from this fight. So why would you take the fight? It makes no sense. Canelo Alvarez would be disrespected and treated as the B-side to this fight. So basically, he's told Canelo Alvarez, this is how it's going to be promoted. This is what I think is a fair price. He's trying to dictate terms to Canelo Alvarez, who's the clear A-side over Terence Crawford. You don't dictate terms to the A-side. You don't dictate terms to the face of boxing in Canelo Alvarez. So that was obviously very stupid from the Turk. And then there's no respect at all. I mean, you're sitting up here talking about you're going to eat Canelo alive. You're sitting up here talking about I'm going to offer him what I think is fair. Don't give a crap about what Canelo thinks. Doesn't care about how Canelo wants to promote the fight. It doesn't matter. That's not how you talk to the face of boxing. And then you also think about the post-fight hate that Canelo Alvarez is going to get. Once he beats Terence Crawford, the first thing everybody's going to say is Terence Crawford moved up in weight and Canelo Alvarez cherry-picked him. The same thing they said about Canelo Alvarez fighting Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo was undisputed at 154. People said he would outbox Canelo. He was a pound-for-pound fighter. The moment Canelo beat him and destroyed him, they said it was a cherry-pick. They said he had no chance. And then they tried to lie and say he wasn't even pound-for-pound. You literally can't make up this type of hate. The same thing will happen with Terence Bud Crawford. It makes zero sense for Canelo Alvarez to accept any fight or do any deal with the Turk.